Finally, she dragged herself across the cold tiles with her arms, sobbing until she reached the counter and pulled down a glass of water. When Daniel finally stumbled in at 3 a.m., drunk and laughing on the phone, he stepped over her without even looking down. That was the moment something inside Clare broke. She realized she wasn't just neglected, she was abandoned in every way that mattered. The next morning, Daniel dropped another envelope in her lap. "They're shutting off the power if we don't pay. What are you going to do about it?" Her trembling fingers opened it, eyes burning. For the first time, she didn't feel sorrow, she felt fire, because abandonment has a way of burning away illusions, and Clare was starting to see the truth. The knock on the door startled Clare. She was alone again, hungry, the apartment quiet except for the hum of the failing refrigerator. She wheeled herself slowly to the door and opened it to find Melissa, her old college friend, someone she hadn't seen in years. "Claire," Melissa exclaimed, stepping inside with a warm hug. "I just heard what happened. I can't believe Daniel didn't tell me sooner." "You poor thing." For a moment, relief washed over Clare. A familiar face, someone from her past who once knew her before all the pain. Melissa carried groceries, placed them on the counter, and filled the room with chatter that drowned the silence. But beneath the smiles was something Clare couldn't place. Melissa's eyes lingered a bit too long on Daniel's photo by the wall. And when Daniel came home later that evening, the shift was undeniable. Melissa's voice softened, her laughter grew lighter, her hand brushed his arm as they talked about the old days. Daniel didn't pull away. In fact, he leaned in, soaking up the attention. Claire's heart clenched. Later, when they were alone, Melissa squeezed Claire's hand. "Don't worry, I'll be here for both of you. I'll help you with whatever you need." It sounded comforting, it looked like friendship, but the next weeks revealed the cracks. Melissa's visits grew frequent, always at times when Daniel was home. She brought Claire small gifts, but lingered more and more in the kitchen with him. One afternoon, Claire overheard them laughing. She wheeled herself closer, careful not to make a sound. Melissa's voice was playful. "You deserve someone who appreciates you, Daniel, not someone who drags you down." Daniel chuckled low. "You think I haven't thought about that?" Claire's chest tightened, her breath caught between shock and betrayal. Melissa, her friend, was crossing lines she never should, and Daniel wasn't stopping her. That night, Melissa leaned close to Claire's chair, her tone drooping with false sympathy. "You're so strong, Claire. Honestly, I don't know how you manage. If it were me, I'd probably give up." The words stung, a backhanded compliment laced with envy. Melissa wasn't here to build her up, she was here to position herself, to see how far Daniel's attention could tilt. Claire clung to misplaced trust, telling herself Melissa was just being kind, just filling gaps Daniel left wide open. But deep down she knew something dangerous was growing. The breaking point came on a stormy evening when Claire woke to hushed whispers in the next room. She wheeled herself silently to the hallway and froze. Melissa was there in her house, in her living room, pressed against Daniel, her lips grazing his cheek. Claire's voice cracked the air like thunder. "What are you doing in my house at this hour?" The room went silent. Melissa stepped back, guilt flickering across her face before vanishing behind a smirk. Daniel didn't even look ashamed, he looked annoyed. And in that chilling silence, Claire realized the truth. Betrayal wasn't knocking at her door, it was already inside. Claire never imagined the man who once vowed to cherish her would stand across the room, arms wrapped around her so-called friend. Yet here it was, undeniable. "Daniel," her voice cracked, trembling with both rage and grief. "In my house, with her, after everything." Instead of remorse, Daniel sneered. "You make it sound dramatic. What do you expect, Claire? You're not the same woman I married. You can't walk, you can't work, you can't give me anything anymore. Melissa makes me feel alive." The words struck her harder than the accident itself. Her hands gripped the armrest of her wheelchair, nails digging into the worn fabric. Melissa smirked, brushing imaginary dust off her blouse, as if Claire were nothing but an inconvenience. "You promised for better or worse," Claire whispered, her voice breaking. "You swore before God."
Daniel laughed bitterly. "That was before you turned into a burden. I didn't sign up to waste my life pushing a chair." The humiliation cut deep. Clare had endured neglect, endured silence, endured sighs and cold shoulders. But this was betrayal laid bare, without shame, without cover. Melissa tilted her head, her voice sugar-coated with cruelty. "Clare, maybe it's time you faced reality. Daniel deserves happiness. Well, you've had your turn." Tears blurred Clare's vision, but she refused to let them fall. With what strength she had left, she forced herself to speak. "Leave my house, both of you." Daniel's face hardened. He walked to the bedroom, gathered a duffel bag, and began stuffing it with clothes. "Fine, if you want me gone, I'm gone. But don't come crawling to me when you realize you can't survive without me." Melissa trailed behind him, glancing back at Clare with triumph in her eyes. The betrayal of a friend and a husband twisted together in one venomous image she knew would haunt her forever. Minutes later, the slam of the front door echoed through the apartment. Silence followed, thick and suffocating. Clare's heart pounded in her chest, not from fear, but from the ache of broken vows echoing in her soul. She wheeled herself to the window, staring into the night. Rain poured down the glass, mirroring the storm inside. For years, she had been his strength, his support, his foundation. And now, when she needed him most, he had chosen someone else. Her phone buzzed. A message lit the screen. "Don't call me. It's over." No apology, no hesitation, just cold departure. Clare's chest heaved, her tears finally falling. The man who once promised eternity had discarded her like an old coat. She pressed her forehead against the cold window pane, whispering into the night, "God, don't let this be the end of me." And yet, as she sat alone in the hollow silence, the weight of betrayal crushing her, a knock echoed at the door. Sharp, urgent, unexpected. Her heart skipped.
Who could it be at this hour? The urgent knock echoed again. Clare wiped her tears, wheeled herself shakily toward the door, and opened it to find her mother, Margaret, standing in the rain with eyes full of worry. "Baby, I knew it. I knew something was wrong," Margaret whispered, stepping inside and pulling her daughter into a fierce embrace. She smelled of lavender soap and determination. The sight of her mother's face broke the last of Clare's defenses. Sobs tore out of her chest. "He left me, Mom. He walked out with Melissa. I have nothing left." Margaret held her tighter, her hands trembling as much as Clare's voice. "You are not nothing. You are my daughter. You are stronger than this pain, Clare." But despair wrapped around Clare like chains. "I can't walk. I can't work. I can't even feed myself without struggling. What kind of life is this?" Her mother knelt in front of the wheelchair, locking eyes with her. "It's a life worth fighting for. You may not see it now, but I see it. I see the fire in you. You didn't survive that accident just to waste away in misery." For the first time in weeks, Clare felt something stir beneath the layers of grief, a flicker, small but real. Her mother's faith was like a candle in her darkness. That night, as Margaret made her soup and tucked her in, she whispered again, "Don't let his betrayal be your ending. Let it be your beginning." Clare stared at the ceiling long after her mother had fallen asleep on the couch. Her heart still ached, her body still felt broken, but her mind began whispering questions she had pushed away. What if I'm not finished? What if there's more for me? The phone rang at dawn. Margaret answered, then handed it to Clare. "It's your aunt's lawyer. He says he has something important to discuss with you." Confusion clouded Clare's face. "My aunt? But she passed away years ago." The lawyer's voice came clear over the line. "Mrs. Thompson, I represent your late Aunt Evelyn's estate. She left behind certain provisions, but they must be discussed in person. Are you able to meet?" Clare's heart pounded. Her Aunt Evelyn, distant, private, but always quietly kind. What could this mean? Margaret squeezed her hand. "Answer him, Clare. This could be something." Fear warred with hope. Part of her wanted to refuse, to stay curled in despair, but another part, the part her mother saw, was ready to rise, even if only a little. Her voice trembled, but she forced the words out. "Yes, I'll meet you." The line went silent for a beat. Then the lawyer replied,
Good, because this meeting will change everything. Claire's hand shook as she lowered the phone. She didn't know it yet, but the flicker of hope she had felt was about to ignite into a fire that would remake her entire life. The law office smelled faintly of leather and polished wood. Claire wheeled into the room with her mother by her side, her hands clammy from nerves. Sitting behind a mahogany desk was Mr. Reynolds, a silver-haired lawyer with kind eyes that seemed to measure her carefully. "Mrs. Thompson," he said, rising to shake her hand, "your Aunt Evelyn spoke of you often, though you may not have realized it." Claire blinked, startled. "She did? We barely saw each other." Mr. Reynolds nodded. "That was her way, private, guarded, but she left something behind for you, something she believed would only be revealed at the right time." He slid a thick envelope across the desk. Claire's hands shook as she opened it. Inside was a letter written in her aunt's elegant handwriting. "My dearest Claire, life has a way of breaking us before it builds us. If you are reading this, I trust you have faced your breaking. I have left you a legacy, not for comfort alone, but for purpose. You are to heir to my estate, valued at $100 million. But this gift comes with conditions. It must be used to build, to restore, to give life where others see only loss. Let it shape you into who you are meant to be." Claire's breath caught. $100 million? Her eyes darted to her mother, who covered her mouth in shock. "This isn't real," Claire whispered. "It can't be." Mr.